What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today we're taking a look at the sneaker releases in the first half of May 2020 and I'll let you know what I think of each one of these releases and whether I think each one is going to sit on shelves or sell out. I gotta be honest man, this quarantine is taking a toll on me and it's not only because I'm wearing beanies because my hair is getting too long, it's also because there's just not a lot of sneakers coming out. To be fair, there are still some pretty big releases coming out in May and a lot of them are coming out in the beginning of the month, but it's not like it was back in March, which I get was All-Star Weekend, but still, man, it's not the same. Okay, enough with the, I guess slight negativity. We'll keep it positive throughout the rest of the video. I am excited about a lot of these releases, and some of them you guys are probably pretty hyped on as well. As usual, I'll give you my obligatory sit or sell disclaimer. Please only buy shoes because you like them and not because some random dude on the internet told you to. And not only that, a lot of these releases are subject to change, and some new releases might kind of come out of nowhere, so this list might be out of date tomorrow even, who knows. Wow, I kind of mashed them all into one there. That seemed to actually work out. Cool. If you would like to grab any of the releases mentioned in today's video, I've left some affiliate links in the top of the description, like to Nike and to GOAT, and places where you can grab the shoes either early or when they come out. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. Starting things off on May 1st, we've got the Nike KD13 Home. This primarily white KD13 has a black grid printed over the top of the upper. Not exactly sure what the significance of that grid is, but I'm sure it means something. The outsole of the shoe comes covered in a multicolored explosion or multicolored camo. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. It comes in grays, oranges, blues, greens, and probably some other colors that I just can't see. The shoe itself is pretty decent looking, and if you haven't picked up a pair of KD13s yet and you would like to, this might be the colorway to grab. I'm pretty sure this shoe will be a GR and it won't be difficult to get, so for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sit. Next up, we've got a collaboration between Adidas and 3M in the way of two different night jogger colorways. These night joggers come in red and in gray, and of course, because of the collaboration, these shoes are covered in 3M. They're not exactly my thing, but I don't think it's a bad collaboration. It is kind of cool to see 3M actually collaborating with the brand and using 3M on the upper. And while design-wise, I'm not a huge fan of it, I'd love to see this shoe in like a nightclub or somewhere that has a lot of flashes. I think that would look pretty cool. But in my opinion, I don't see either of these sneakers selling out. And finally, rounding off May 1st with a giant question mark, we've got the Travis Scott Nike Air Max 270 Reacts. For a while now, the rumored release date for these shoes has been May 1st, but now that we're just about at May 1st, I haven't seen them, so I'm thinking, are they even gonna drop? So at this point, there are two possibilities. One, the shoe will either shock drop on the sneakers app or on websites on May 1st, which I kind of think isn't gonna happen. Or two, the shoe got pushed back or just never had this release date, and this was just a rumored release date, and it's not coming out for a little bit longer. If you were to ask me whether I thought the shoe was actually going to release on May 1st, I would tell you, I don't think there's a chance, but that's just my own opinion. I've talked a lot about this shoe in the past. I think it's an interesting sneaker. I actually really like the colorway that they used on this sneaker. However, I'm not the biggest fan of the 270 Reacts, and I'm definitely not the biggest fan of the paint on the midsole of this shoe. It seems to be hand done and not very well. And according to a tag on the side of the shoe, it also comes off in the rain, so that's ridiculous. The sneaker itself doesn't look bad, and I know a lot of people are excited about it specifically because it's a Travis Scott collaboration, and of course when it does actually drop, I can guarantee that it will sell out, but as of right now, I don't see this shoe dropping on the 1st or for the next week or so. Then moving on to May 2nd, we've got the highly anticipated widespread release of the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red 2020 Retros. This shoe is definitely one of my favorite retro Jordans to drop this year. I love the Fire Red 5s. I think the shoe looks incredible, and the material quality on this sneaker is actually pretty decent. Quantity-wise, I think there's a lot of pairs of these that are going to be available, and I don't think it's going to be that difficult to get, but what I will say, because it's such a popular silhouette and colorway, that there is a good chance that this shoe will move. Now, how quickly will it move? I have no idea, but I wouldn't sleep on this shoe because honestly, I think the shoe is going to sell out. Then jumping all the way over to May 7th, we've got the Air Jordan 34 Low Heritage. This Air Jordan 34 Low comes in a light blue, dark blue, and green makeup, and overall, it looks pretty solid. This 34 is covered in patterns taken from the Air Jordan 3s and Air Jordan 7s, and adds an interesting new spin with the new colorway. With this shoe, I think it really depends on how limited this shoe actually ends up being to determine whether this shoe is going to sit or sell, but I'm personally kind of leaning towards this shoe sitting on shelves. Then on May 8th, we've got the grade school Air Jordan 13 Aurora Green. As the name would suggest, this 13 comes in a white and green colorway with colorful accents all around the upper and on the laces. Obviously, this shoe is a grade school only release, so adults probably won't be able to fit in this sneaker unless you have really small feet, but at the end of the day, I think that's fine because it's not that great of a colorway, at least in my opinion. Hey, if you have a kid that likes this colorway, I don't think it should be too hard for you to grab this pair for them because I think this colorway is going to sit. Also on the 8th, we've got the Adidas Hardened Stepback in black, orange, and purple. The Stepback is definitely the budget option for people who want to grab Hardened shoes but don't want to spend the money on the full Hardened Volume 4. To be real with you guys, I don't know much about this sneaker. I haven't picked it up. I haven't even watched reviews on this shoe, but from a visual point of view, I think it's a pretty decent looking shoe, and if you're looking for a budget basketball sneaker, I would expect it to be okay. And of course, because the Stepback is a budget basketball sneaker and probably will have a very widespread release, I just don't see this colorway selling out. And then rounding off the 8th, we've got the Nike LeBron 17 Uptempo. By this point, I'm sure you've seen all the LeBron sneakers that have drawn inspiration from previous Nike models, and as the name Uptempo would suggest about this sneaker, this shoe is inspired by the Nike Uptempo. The shoe comes in bright red with white and black accents throughout. The only thing I feel like this shoe is missing is the air text around the outside. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't add that in some way. Maybe I'm missing it from these pictures, but I would have thought that they would have thrown on maybe like a Flyknit Air or something. That said, I think it's a cool sneaker. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You guys know red is my favorite color, and I think the red on this shoe looks great. But even though it is a more limited version of the Nike LeBron 17, I don't think that many people are that interested in it. So for that reason, I think the shoe is going to sit. Then on May 9th, we've got the Air Jordan 1 High Royal Toe, or as Nike's calling it, the Air Jordan 1 High White Royal. This is a pretty decent royal take on the Air Jordan 1 Highs, but I know for a lot of people, including myself, that when the leaks of this shoe first started coming out and we started hearing the name Royal Toe, we expected the color blocking of this shoe to be much closer to the bread toes than the gym reds. Personally, I would have much preferred a sort of bread toe or royal toe colorway over this sort of gym red makeup. Obviously, the shoe does still have a royal toe, hence the nickname, but it's not the same. The shoe features royal accents on the toe and around the ankle area of the shoe, as well as a white wings logo on the lateral side. And as far as Jordan releases go, this shoe is probably going to be one of the more popular Jordans to release this year. However, it's not that memorable. There was a shock drop, or I guess reservation for the shoe on the sneakers app yesterday and today. Unfortunately, I wasn't picked for any of them, so I won't have this shoe as early as I would like. But for the people that did get it, congratulations, I'm not salty at all. At the end of the day, this is a pretty solid colorway on an Air Jordan 1 High, so I definitely see this sneaker selling out. Then jumping a few days once again to May 14th, we've got the Jordan Delta SP in Vachetta Tan. Now I feel like it has to be said that Vachetta Tan leather is a kind of leather. It's a kind of leather that starts out that sort of flesh tone pink color and gets darker the more that you wear it. This shoe is just that color. It's not actually leather. So the nickname of the shoe is really based on a kind of leather and not the color of the shoe itself. The shoe comes in a light tan colorway, and unlike Vachetta Tan leather, it won't actually get darker the more that you wear it, unless you rub it in dirt or something. Jordan Brand actually sent me a pair of the Jordan Delta SPs a couple weeks back, and I did a review on that shoe, so if you'd like to check that out, there'll be a link at the top of the screen. I think the shoe is a pretty decent attempt at a new Jordan lifestyle model, and I really like the way that the React midsole feels underfoot. Overall, it's a nice shoe, but it's nothing crazy, and I think the reason the first pair sold out was because it was a new Jordan silhouette. This colorway, while it looks better in my opinion, just isn't as new or as fresh as the original was, so for that reason, I think this shoe is gonna sit. Then on May 15th, we've got a restock of the Adidas Yeezy Quantum. The Adidas Yeezy Quantums originally released back in Chicago during All-Star Weekend. In fact, Kanye was actually giving out pairs from some of the tanks that he used in some of his music videos. Pairs were also released at the Adidas flagship store and at some Foot Lockers and at some Champs. Needless to say, the release was very limited. However, on May 15th, it looks like we're getting a much more widespread release, which I'm very excited for because I don't actually have my pair of Quantums anymore. This restock is just for the lifestyle version of the Quantums and not the basketball version, and if you missed out on the Quantums the first time around, now you got a second shot. I have no idea how many pairs of this sneaker will be available, but I would expect it to be a pretty limited release, and because it's a limited Yeezy that everyone wants, I definitely think this shoe will sell out. And also dropping on the 15th for the first time, we've got the Adidas Yeezy Quantum Basketball. Visually, this shoe looks very similar to the Quantum lifestyle sneaker. However, there are some tech changes that make this shoe actually able to be played in. The first of which is the TPU cage that covers up the midfoot of the sneaker. It still comes in that sort of wavy Yeezy pattern that you have on the standard pair of Quantums, except it's more of a rubbery plastic than the prime knit that's on the standard pair. In theory, this detail should supply more support and stability for the midfoot of the shoe, but I guess we'll just have to wait until we get pairs in hand to actually see how well it works. In addition to that, the Quantum Basketball also doesn't have as much 3M as the standard version, so that NBA players can actually play in it. The standard Quantum was actually banned by the NBA because of the insane amount of 3M on the sneaker. I'd love to do a comparison between these two sneakers to really find out what the differences are, but I think it's going to be harder to get pairs than we expect, and I'm pretty sure the Quantum Basketball is going to sell out just like the Quantum Lifestyle pair. And then rounding off the video on May 16th, we've got the Nike LeBron 17 Low in the bone colorway. This LeBron 17 Low comes in a light cream colored upper with the semi-translucent blue outsole. It's actually one of the better looking LeBron 17 Lows. I actually dig this colorway a lot. This LeBron 17 Low will probably have a pretty widespread release, and for that reason, I think this shoe will most likely sit on shelves. Also dropping on the 16th, we've got 4 different colorways of the Air Jordan 4 Metallic Pack. These Air Jordan 4s all come in a pretty similar white makeup with a white midsole and outsole and a white upper, but what differentiates each one of these colorways is actually the accent color that's on the eyelets and on the heel tab. The 4 colorways include Court Purple, Pine Green, University Red, and Team Orange. And I think personally, I'm either gonna go for the University Red colorway or the Court Purple colorway. Like most of the sneakers on today's list, I have no idea how limited these shoes will actually be. And because of that, I can't say for sure whether the shoes will sit or will sell. But if I had to venture a guess, I think that they will probably sell out, and I would guess that the University Red colorway would sell out first. And then rounding off the video for today, we've got the Adidas Yeezy 500 High in the Tyrian colorway. It's actually been a while since we've seen a pair of 500 High, so it is kind of nice to see this colorway coming back. However, it is kind of odd to see it coming back in the summer. These Yeezy 500 High Tyrians come in a primarily black or dark gray makeup with some purple accents throughout the upper. I really love the Slate 500 Highs that dropped last year. I think that's a great looking sneaker. I think it's very comfortable, but this one just doesn't seem to have that same sort of pop that that pair had. However, regardless of the colorway, I think people will still be drawn to this sneaker. But what's interesting is if you look back at the 500 Slates, they didn't sell out immediately. In fact, they sold out online, but they didn't sell out in store. So because none of the stores that sell this shoe will probably be open by May 16th, I think that this might be an online only release. And online only releases tend to sell out because more people are able to grab them. So because of that, even though I think this is one of the less popular Yeezy silhouettes, I think this shoe might still sell. But now I would love to know your thoughts on these releases and which shoes you're looking forward to most, so let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, make sure to stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one.